Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. In the last episode, we ended right here at the beginning of the Pirate Fortress, and in this episode, we are going to break in. Now, you can wait until there's an opening right here in the line of pirates, and to make it even easier, they show them on the map as well. And you're never not going to have the map for this area, I don't think. I'm not sure if the map of the Great Bay applies to the Pirate Fortress, but I don't think it does. But even if it does, I would recommend buying the map for the Great Bay, so you can know where all the pirates are pretty much all the time. But there is a mask that we got, either in the last episode or the episode before that, that will make this place a whole lot easier. But the first thing we need to do is come over here and go into our Goron form. I don't even have that equipped right now, so we need to go ahead and equip that. We're not going to really be using that much in the Pirate Fortress, except pretty much for this area right here. There is a switch on the ground, much like the switches that we saw in the Snowhead Temple, and I'm going to go ahead and, of course, take off the mask. Because if I fell in this water, I'd probably, if the Goron can't handle a little puddle of water, probably cannot handle the entire bay in front of the Pirate Fortress. But what pressing that switch did was open up a switch over here, and I didn't know if like running into that boat right there would do anything, so I thought I would test it out really quick. I don't know why I would test it out right here in the middle of an episode, because if I, got caught, I would have to go back to the very beginning. The good thing is, they only throw you like right outside the Pirate Fortress, so it's really easy to get back in. But here we are in pretty much the first area of the Pirate Fortress, and the first thing we have is sort of a little block puzzle. I'm trying to remember if we've had any of these block puzzles yet in the game. I don't think we have, actually, and that's kind of weird considering how common they were in Ocarina of Time. Actually, I take that back. There was one in the first temple of the game, but it wasn't that hard. But as for this one, it's not really that hard. Of course, all you really got to do is pull the first one out and push the second one in. And even if you didn't know that, it's pretty easy to just figure out how to open up that passageway to make yourself able to get through there. But that little current thing up there, you definitely don't want to swim into those if you can help it, because usually they will push you back out to that bay area in front of the Pirate Fortress, and if you get caught in one of those later on in the Pirate Fortress before you get a certain item that will allow us to skip this first part every time, you're going to be a little bit angry, I would imagine. But there's a heart piece in there that we're going to need to get. That heart piece is kind of a weirdly placed heart piece in my opinion, because it's just like right in the middle of the Pirate Fortress, and I can't remember many other heart pieces that are in the middle of dungeons like this. I'm not even sure if you can really classify this as a dungeon. I almost just went right in the water right there, which would have been bad. I would have assumed that the switch would have reset if I had done that, but all you really got to do is hit that switch back there and roll into the prison cell before the door closes. And of course, if you get stuck in there with the door closed, luckily they were kind enough to put a switch on the inside. So if it is a prison cell, I have to imagine that's not exactly what it is, because there is a way to get out from the inside. But that little crystal switch up there, of course, is our ticket out of here, and that opens up a little, I don't even know what you'd call it, just a little gate thing, but there's another one of those little current things that you have to watch out for. Like I said, don't swim into those, or you're going to go back pretty much to the very beginning of the Pirate Fortress. But here's a ladder to get out of here, and I believe that this is exactly like, yeah, this is that room. This puzzle right here is a lot like the puzzle I remember in the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, of course. Basically the one where you gotta stand on the geyser and shoot something at a crystal switch to make the geyser go up and get you to another platform. But in that case, you actually had to hit another switch to get access to the crystal switch to even be able to do that in the first place. So it kind of took a puzzle that was already existent in Ocarina of Time and added another layer to it, I guess. But we all know, fans of Ocarina of Time know exactly where that puzzle came from. But here's another telescope, a lot like the one in the Astral Observatory. There's not really too much we can do with this right now, except, I'm not even sure what the point of this is, other than to just look through it and get a scope out pretty much the Pirate Fortress. But there is a glitch you can do with that. By the way, before I get into that, there's another crystal switch over here that will unlock the door to get basically into the real area of the Pirate Fortress. But there is a glitch that you can do with telescopes in this game that is called the Fourth Day Glitch. And by the way, speaking of before when I said I'm not going to use my Goron form, I'm going to go ahead and do that, because if I fall off, I will just come right back up here, and because if I fall off, I would fall off in the water and drown, and I would just go back up there instead of having to go all the way through it, because if I was a human Link, or if I was Zora Link, I would just fall in the water and have to go all the way back up. But anyway, yeah, Fourth Day Glitch, I'll probably show that before the end of the Let's Play, but just know that telescope is one of the ways that you can do it. But one thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put on my stone mask and get out my pictograph, and that's a weird combination. But if we put on our stone mask, we can run right up to the pirates here in the Pirate Fortress, and they don't even care, and we need to take a picture of one of them. I guess that's a good enough picture for a little side quest later on. But yeah, I really love the stone mask because it allows you to go right through the pirate fortress with absolutely no care in the world about what the pirates want. If you want to go through it the real way, if you even want to call it the real way, I consider this a legitimate way. If they didn't want you to go through it this way, they wouldn't have allowed you to get the stone mask this early. You can actually shoot them with an arrow and they will fall down. That's, like I said, how you would get through it the legitimate way. I guess her body is blocking the passageway right there. I can't get through. But yeah, in this room over here, which I didn't really explain, I guess we could have seen it with the telescope, we're going to be getting a cutscene right on cue pretty much, and we're going to be getting that item, not technically in this room, but pretty soon near this room, we're going to be getting that item that I mentioned before. Well, that's a good story and all, but we're gonna go ahead and take out our bow and shoot the beehive that just so happens to be in the same room as that cutscene we just saw, and we're gonna go in there and grab that treasure chest in just a second. But yeah, we learned there are 7 eggs, and we learned that there are 4 in the pirate fortress that we're gonna need to get before we're done here. And of course, we're gonna need to get that item down there as well, and we're gonna go ahead and go get that right away pretty much. But we only have 3 bottles. So we're gonna have to make 2 trips into the pirate fortress to get those. And what in the world was that? I almost walked on the roof right there, which would make, if that was possible, there's a skip you can do to skip a fight we're gonna have to do later on by jumping around a pillar. If it was possible to run on the roof like that, like I thought it was gonna be able to, it would make that skip a whole lot easier. And by the way, I'm not gonna be doing that skip I'm referring to, but I might show it a little bit later on. But here we get the hook shot, which is a staple in the Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask series, I guess, if you want to call it that. And it's a good thing we got it when we did, because there is a Zora egg in the room that we are in right now. So we need to equip our Zora mask, our hook shot, and a bottle, but of course we need to be on our human form because we can't use the hook shot as Zora Link. Luckily, there are wooden little platform things above pretty much all these tanks that we're going to use to get into the tanks. And that's a good thing, otherwise we wouldn't be able to get into these tanks, I don't believe. But we can use our bottle underwater to scoop up Zora eggs, and pretty much all of the tanks are going to have some sort of obstacle like that. Like, I forgot what those are called, but those are going to be in, you know, 2 or 3 of the tanks, I think. Those fish that we saw before, like the bony fish, are often in those tanks. And I'm going to go ahead and pretty much any time that I go anywhere in the Pirate Fortress, I'm going to have my stone mask on. But anyway, one thing I want to kind of mention, that cutscene that we saw where I'm trying to... Oh yeah, the bee. Basically where the bee flew into the beehive and they were talking about the eggs. That cutscene right there, for some reason that room in the English version, there's no passage to get from that room to the room with the hookshot in it. But in the Japanese version, the treasure chest that has that hookshot in it is facing the opposite direction. I don't even know why it's like that. I just thought I should mention it. But one thing I want to show you is that if you hook onto these with your hookshot, halt, says a mysterious voice. I always found that hilarious because there's no way that I should be able to halt in the air like that. I guess they didn't really expect you to be able to latch on to those torches like that. But one thing that I have to point out is that we do not have our sword anymore because I dropped it off at the smithy. this fight is actually not that hard even without your sword, because I found that if you stun them with your Zora fins, 3 backflips, and exactly 3, so that worked out to my plans, but 3 backflips using the Zora will defeat them. And you can also use arrows, and I believe it takes like 2 fire arrows. The only problem is that they will often dodge your arrows, but they don't seem to be able to dodge your backflips, especially because your Zora fins will allow you to stun them such that you can get attacks off on them without them dodging them. But in here, there is a lot of those bony fish, like I mentioned before. I think these might be some of my least favorite enemies in the entire game. They just kind of like gang up on you and they make it hard to get away from, which I guess is the point of an enemy in a game. But that treasure chest right there, there's not really too much point in getting it. All it has is a red rupee in it. And of course, I probably should have dropped off my rupees at the bank, but since we have a full wallet right now, there's not really much point in grabbing that red rupee. But of course, we're on the outside of the pirate fortress. Might as well go ahead and put on our stone mask again. And like I said, there are, in kind of like that cutscene, I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to hit that. I'm way too far away. But like that cutscene said, like I've kind of mentioned and hinted at, there are 4 pirate eggs, or 4 Zora eggs in the pirate fortress. And of course, we only have 3 bottles, so we're gonna have to make 2 trips into the pirate fortress to get that last egg. Good thing, I think the 4th egg is probably the easiest one, because there's not too many pirates that you've got to dodge to go get it, and also we have the stone mask. But by the way, this is one of those rooms that is a little bit difficult if you don't have the stone mask. You can actually get that treasure chest right there without having the stone mask on, but all it has is rupees in it. I believe a silver rupee, but I am not going to go ahead and get that right now because, like I said before, we have a full wallet, so there's not much point. But I think they might have even intended you to have the stone mask to get that treasure chest down there. We can do the same trick right here with the... I can't even do it anymore. That's as far as you go, like halfway through the air. They really kind of, the text dialogue, and they didn't mean it to be so funny for that glitch. I mean, it just works, I guess. But we're going to do the same exact thing here with the 3 backflips. It's pretty much the same exact fight, and we're going to have to do it for a 3rd time. So really all the eggs are guarded exactly the same way. It would have been kind of cool, I guess, if all the 3 pirates that we're going to have to fight had maybe different tactics or something like that, but really in the grand scheme of things, this pirate fortress is kind of a minor part of the game, I guess, so maybe it wasn't that important. But in here, we're going to be getting our 3rd pirate egg, and like I said, we're going to have to make a trip back. Actually, I'm not even sure if I mentioned where we have to take them, even though I think I did in the last episode. It looks like I'm going to have to drain a good bottle of milk here just to fit another egg into it, and by the way, it has 2 uses, so I'm going to have to use it again. But yeah, we have to take the eggs back to the observatory. I'm not sure what it's called, just the Great Bay Observatory area or the lab or whatever. We have to take them back there and put them in that aquarium and then come back. So I think what I might do is go ahead and cut out the run back there since we do have the 3rd egg. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out or whatever. I will meet you guys back at the lab. Alright, here we are back in apparently what is called the Marine Research Lab, and I forgot at pretty much exactly right after I said we're going to go ahead and cut out the run back, I remember the fact that there is an owl statue right outside the lab, so I could have just, and what I did was just warp back. So it took like 20 seconds to get back here. Probably not entirely necessary to edit that out, but I might as well go ahead and cut out the run back to the pirate fortress because there's no way to get back there without swimming all the way back. But we might as well go ahead and put all these eggs in here at one time, even though we could just drop one off. I'm probably gonna, actually, there's nothing I could really forget. I was gonna say I'd probably forget when we came back, but if we can drop off all 3 at once, that's a good thing. All we really gotta worry about now is going back to get that one in the pirate fortress, and then you might remember that the pirate said that there are 3 more in murky water somewhere that we're gonna have to worry about that we will get probably before the end of this episode. But once again, I'm gonna go ahead and don my Zora mask and swim back to the pirate fortress. I will meet you back in that main area in the pirate fortress. Alright, here we are back in the pirate fortress, of course wearing the stone mask, so we will not get caught. But the final egg in the pirate fortress is over here on the southern side of it, I guess. I actually kind of always thought of this as the eastern side of it. I don't know why, maybe just because we come in at a weird angle maybe. Anyway, the final egg is over on this side, and there is going to be another one of those pirate fights in a room, actually the next room. I thought it was going to be this room, I forgot about this room. But there is a skip that you can do to skip this next pirate fight, Actually, there are skips that you can do to skip pretty much every pirate fight, which are pretty cool, but like I said, I'd rather show you the fights than skip the fights. Just know that those do exist. And while we're here, might as well try that glitch once again. Unfortunately, all we get is the halt message again, so unfortunately we didn't get another third funny message, but I think that might just be one of the funniest things in the game. You know, halt in midair as if I have some sort of control over that. But here we are fighting the third of 3 pirates that we are going to have to fight in the pirate fortress. Of course, like I said before, they are not going to have any different tactics or anything, and one more backflip at this point should take her out. The only thing that I don't think I really mentioned about the pirate fights is that if you accidentally hit their sword while they are blocking, your sort of thing where you try and get your fins ready to fire will not fire. So you gotta kind of back off a little bit and wait for their I was gonna say wait for their guard to go down, but sometimes it takes forever, so you might as well just back off, make sure you're not gonna hit their block, and then after that, pretty much because the boomerangs, or the fins are kind of like boomerangs, they will loop back around, and pretty much all the time hit the pirate. But anyway, all that aside, because we don't really have to fight any more pirates, so it's kind of a moot point, we have one more egg left to collect, and of course the shell thing is in here, kind of like the first tank. Like I said, they're going to be in a couple of the tanks, and those are probably some of my least favorite enemies, along with those bony fish. That is the final of the 4 eggs that we are going to have to collect here in the pirate fortress, so we can go ahead and warp back to the marine lab. I already forgot what it was called, but since I remembered now that there is an owl statue right outside of it, not really much point in cutting out the trip back. After the trip, or after we drop off the egg here, I think it's about time to go back and see who delivered that letter. We know the mailman delivered the letter, but you might remember last episode or the episode before that, we placed a letter in a mailbox for the mailman to deliver. It's about 2:15 almost right now. That letter is going to be delivered about 4:15 in the afternoon. And the next thing that we need to do, and by the way, I didn't mean to examine this, but you can get a heart piece from that, so we will have to examine it later on. The next thing that we have to do in the pirate eggs, or I keep saying that, Zora egg side quest, or really it's not even a side quest since you have to do it to beat the game. But anyway, after I let this egg settle down here at the bottom, I will probably go back to Clocktown because I don't even want a chance missing the delivery of that letter, because if I do, I'll have to do the entire side quest 2 more times. Actually, do the entire side quest 1 more time in the next cycle, and then I would have to do it again in another cycle because there's kind of a branching path about halfway through this side quest that we haven't even gotten to yet, so I would have to do it a total of 2 more times at least. Anyway, I will meet you guys back in Clocktown, and I will show you exactly where you have to wait for the meet to take place. Alright, here we are back in the laundry pool, which we have not been to in quite a bit of time, and as far as the Let's Play goes, gonna go ahead and take off my Zora mask right here because I don't know if that would mess anything up. I don't think it would, but just in case, I'm really paranoid about the side quest, because like I said, I don't want to have to do it another 1 or 2 or 3 more times, but I'm gonna go ahead and wait right here until about 4:15, because that is when the letter will be delivered, and then I'm gonna have to wait a little bit longer after that for the character. Actually, it's gonna be delivered before 15, I take that back. At 4:15, we are going to be able to go in that door over there on the left side of the screen and continue the side quest, but I will meet you guys when the meet is about to take place. Alright, I think he's handing off the letter right now. Might as well go ahead and interrupt this. He has a letter for him. And I guess that's all the dialogue we're going to get right now. Rest assured that we will get a lot more dialogue from the... I don't know if I want to spoil who the guy in the purple hair is with that mask on right now. But after this meet is over right here, the guy in the blue hair or the purple hair or whatever will go back in the door that he came out of, and we will be able to talk to him. So I guess, since that's not going to happen until about 4:15 in-game time, I will meet you guys when that is available. And now it's about 4:15, so this door is open. I was gonna say should be open, but it actually is open. Sometimes if you are just a little bit before 4:15, it will not open. But here's that kid. Let's go ahead and talk to him. Green hat, green clothes. Andrew wrote about you in her letter. It seems you were looking for Cafe. Can you keep a secret? Of course, we're Link. Andrew trusted you. I shall also trust you. I am Cafe. The Cafe we're looking for is an adult. When I look at you, I just see a child. I was turned into this by a strange imp wearing a mask, but I'm not hiding because I look this way. When I was turned into this, I went to see the Great Fairy in the shrine near the North Gate. But on the way, my precious mask, a wedding ceremony mask, was stolen from me by some prancing man with a grinning face. Well, you're just careless. You're like my partner. Before my wedding ceremony, I was quite happy. I was targeted because of what I had been turned into. Oh my, I pity you. I know Andrew is worried, but I can't go out yet. I made a promise to her that I would bring the wedding mask and greet her. This pendant, give it to Andrew. And from Cafe himself, we get the pendant of memories that we have to deliver to Andrew. And I like how it says we may not understand these grown-up matters, but we should probably take the pendant to Andrew anyway. Keep what we just talked about a secret from everyone. And we have added Cafe, the man himself, to our notebook. His story is actually pretty tragic, and it will get worse. But if we talk to him again, he will say the things that get stolen in this town always make their way into the curiosity shop, and he's waiting for that to happen because that man that stole his mask will probably try and sell it to the curiosity shop. Because remember how I said before, the curiosity shop is really shady, but he says that he looks through this little window in the wall here to look into the curiosity shop, and it's almost like another little telescope thing. I'm not sure if this one right here can be used to do the 4th day glitch or not. I would have to test that out, but if you guys know, I'd love to hear that. We don't actually have to watch the guy that stole his mask come through that door, I don't believe. So the good thing is, we can just come back later and ask Andrew, or ask Cafe, I should say, if he saw anybody come in with his mask, and we will learn exactly where we have to go to get it back. Now, you might remember that we stopped a thief in North Clocktown from basically taking that old lady's bomb bags. That same exact person, not to spoil anything, stole his mask. So we're really gonna get that guy back a second time, which feels really good because I really don't like that guy. But he did give us that pendant of memories, so we need to come back to the Stockpot Inn, and because Andrew is in here, we can just run right around the counter here, around the wall or whatever, and give it to her. I guess we could have backflipped over the counter or whatever, but what fun is there in that? We can run all the way around. If we talk to her, she says, oh, did we meet him? Of course we did, so we can actually give the pendant to her and start another little dialogue. Ah! It's from Cafe. Thank you very much. And apparently that's all the dialogue we get, but her face looks so happy, and we added that little fact to our notebook. So now Andrew says, or now Andrew knows, I should say, that Cafe still loves her. I don't think if we talk to her again, she's gonna say anything, except for the fact that now she's fine with the fact that she doesn't know where Cafe is. If you don't give that pendant to her, she will essentially, I hate to say break down, because that just sounds really off, I guess. It's not really a breakdown. She just kind of gives up on Cafe ever coming back, which is really sad. So I don't think I'm gonna get to show you that unless I just intentionally fail the side quest next time, which I can't do because of that branching path. Like I said before, I have to complete the side quest pretty much all the way through going back to talk to Cafe again. But speaking of completing the side quest, you might wonder how we're supposed to do that. Now, it doesn't specifically say exactly how you're supposed to do it, I don't think, but we do have to go back and talk to Cafe sometime tomorrow, which I'm not exactly sure what time we have to go talk to him again, but we will have to go back and see what he learned about the curiosity shop's visitors, I guess. But we need to go ahead and wait until about 6 o'clock. You might remember that we were supposed to help Cremia with delivering milk to Clocktown, so we're going to go ahead and do that really quick. I will meet you guys at about 6 o'clock in Romani Ranch. Alright guys, it's about 6 o'clock, actually almost exactly 6 o'clock on day 2 now, so we can go ahead and get this little minigame started here. There's going to be a little bit of dialogue here that I will get into in just a few seconds, but I want to explain the Garo mask first of all. Actually, I'll get into the Garo mask a little bit later. This cutscene is actually kind of cool, so I think this is a little bit more important right now. What? The road? Boy, get your bow ready. First Milk Road is blocked by a boulder, and now we have to take this detour through ugly country. Are you ready, boy? I'm gonna try and get us through here as fast as I can. If any pursuers come from behind, chase them off with your arrows. They may be after my cargo of milk bottles. Do you understand? Of course I do. This sounds like the minigame that I was talking about earlier. What we have to do right now is fend off a bunch of attackers from attacking this carriage, I guess. I think it's actually called Cremia's carriage, this little minigame thing. Anyway, there are 3 milk bottles back here on the back here. I've never understood. First of all, they will try to attack those milk bottles, so you get kind of like 3 chances, and you have unlimited arrows, so rapid fire is probably just the way to go. I was going to talk about the Garo's mask earlier. I'm not sure if the Garo mask is what repels them or not. I have heard rumors that it does, but I've also heard that the Circus Leader's mask, which we don't even have at this point, and we could not have at this point, also repels them. So I'm not sure which mask actually does it, but you can tell that they themselves are wearing Garo masks, which you might think maybe the Garo mask has something to do with it. I don't know. Anyway, we did fight them earlier. We have raced them earlier. Those, of course, are the Gorman brothers, and they're really shady. I think everybody in this game, it seems like, is shady, but this is a fairly easy minigame. Just make sure you don't fail it, because you'll have to do the entire thing with saving the ranch again from the aliens and stuff like that. And speaking of the aliens, Cremia in that cutscene said that she doesn't really believe, or she didn't specifically say this, but she doesn't really believe Romani's alien story, which is kind of sad. She does not believe Romani about that, so I guess she just doesn't trust her sister that much. But we've made it to the end here, so I'm really not sure how you could even fail that, but we made it without too much of a problem there. Mr. Barton was happy to get his first delivery in quite a while. Thank you. You were pretty cool. This isn't very big, but accept my thanks. And from Cremia, we get Romani's mask, which we will use a little bit later on. By doing one good deed, a child becomes an adult. That mask is only given to a limited number of adult customers. It's proof of membership. I now acknowledge you as being an adult. I'm not quite sure that that's how becoming an adult works. Apparently, that's how it works for Cremia. There's that weird thing with the corners again, by the way. You know what? Actually, I was going to go ahead and end the episode here, but why don't we just go crazy? I forgot we still have 3 more eggs that we need to get. Let's go ahead and get all the eggs before the end of this episode. It's going to be like a marathon session again, kind of like I did a lot in the Kingdom Hearts 2 Let's Play and stuff like that. But there is a cutscene you can get after that little minigame we just did, where Cremia will give Link a hug, and I'm pretty sure it's random, but that is like, most people consider that to be the best end to that minigame, I guess, just because. But here we are back in the Great Bay, so back to business after we had a little bit of a detour. Now we need to go back, or we need to go to Pinnacle Rock to get the final 3 of the eggs, which we have not gone to Pinnacle Rock yet, and I haven't even talked about it too much, or at all. But first, before that, even though I know how to get through there, if you've never played the game before, this house over here, which I'm not sure what the sign even says, Fisherman's Hut, in here we're going to be getting an item that will help us get through the murky water that we've heard about before, but we need to go ahead and I think take off our Zora mask, and we need to have our our pictograph equipped. Help me! Please take me back to the waters near Pinnacle Rock! Are you interested in that fish? It's a rare fish, isn't it? It's called a seahorse. I caught it swimming around here, just off of Pinnacle Rock. Since it's rare, I was thinking of selling it at the town carnival, which should be starting soon. If you want, I'll give it to you. On one condition. Do you have a pictograph of the female pirates? You know, just so happens that we do. Oh, that's it. That's it. I had a picture like that. Well, aren't you a crafty one? You'll give that to me, won't you? In exchange, I'll give you this. Probably my favorite item in the entire game. We get a seahorse just holding it above our head like any old random item. I don't know why, I just always thought that was pretty funny the way they did that. But that seahorse right there is going to be our ticket and our guide through Pinnacle Rock. And without it, I cannot get past these stupid leeches or levers or whatever they're called. But without the seahorse, you can get through Pinnacle Rock. But I do believe that you have to have that seahorse to get a heart piece that we'll be getting a little bit later on. But you can actually get the eggs without a seahorse. So if you wanted to just speed past this area, you wouldn't have to take a picture of the pirates. Which, speaking of that picture that we had to take, without the stone mask, you would probably, I'm not sure how close to the pirates you have to be, but it would probably be easiest if you just, and by the way, here's the sign for Pinnacle Rock, might as well go ahead and check that. You might as well, if you're going to go ahead and try and get it the legitimate way, take out a pirate with an arrow and take it while it's down, because you won't have a chance of getting caught that way. If you can take it from a distance, it might just be easiest to take it from a distance in that case. But here we are in the Pinnacle Rock area. Might as well go ahead and check the sign while we're here. As it says right here, there is murky water ahead, and caution is advised. That is only advised for people who do not have a seahorse in a bottle. So if we let the seahorse go right here, we will be able to traverse this area with him as our guide. He says we have strange powers, and he requests that we follow him, and he actually does have his own agenda in this game, because he has a friend that is stuck down there. But without him, if you've never played the game before, it's really a trial and error type thing to get through this area, because even though there's all these signs down here, some of them point in the wrong direction, or not necessarily the wrong direction, but there are multiple signs that point in the same direction, and some of them are not the right path. The seahorse, though, of course, will always take you in the right direction. I'm pretty sure once you get to this sign right here, you can just go to the entrance and be okay, but just for safetyness' sake, if that's even a word, you can go to that sign right there and just be safe. But there are a lot of dangerous sea snakes in here, which the pirates talked about in the pirate fortress that we are going to have to take care of. I think what I'm going to do is show you guys how to take care of one of them, and then just go ahead and do like a montage, because I haven't done any of those in this Let's Play so far, for the rest of them, because you take them all out the same exact way, and there are 3 eggs and a seahorse that we're going to have to save down here. But the easiest way to take these guys out is, of course, to use the Zora shield. You can also use your fins if you don't have any more magic left, which I'm dangerously close to losing, and you can get swallowed. Luckily, we have a lot of HP, so that is not really a big deal. To counteract that, all you really got to do is go to one of the sides, and just make sure you don't go in the middle, and you'll be okay. But 2 flashes of the shield will be enough to take out each of the eels. Unfortunately, there is not an egg in here, I should say, or the other seahorse that we have to save. So there are, it looks like 5 more of these that we got to take out. So I will meet you guys when I'm done with all that. And here is the 3rd and final egg. Now, you might think we are free to go back to the lab and deposit them in the aquarium, but there is one more eel we need to take care of, because there is that other seahorse that I might have mentioned. Actually, I don't really think I talked about it too much, I should say, and I'm out of magic pretty much. So I have to resort to using my fins at this point. But there was another seahorse down here that we need to save, and we will get a heart piece for that, and there the seahorse is. I've actually heard that it's not always down here, and it only spawns when you take all the eels out, so I'm not sure exactly what the thing is that you have to do to get this eel to be down here. But in any case, we have found the eel, or the seahorse I should say, so if we talk to them... Thank you, Kyle. This is a symbol of my deepest gratitude. And that symbol of gratitude is a piece of heart. I will meet you guys back in the lab, and we will drop off these final eggs. Good. All of the eggs have been brought together. It's going to start. Quick, come to the front of the aquarium. Look at this! What does this mean? What in the world could this mean? I've got it! Don't you understand? The way these Zora children have lined up, it means... Well, what does it mean? You can't leave me on a cliffhanger like that. It's actually a song. I'm never sure exactly how to get this to start. I guess maybe if we... Yep, apparently that's all we needed to do. That! Yes, it's that instrument! If these Zoras were born to teach this song, then hurry! You must play this song for the Zora who lay these eggs! And luckily, we just so happen to know which Zora laid those eggs through our research at Zora Hall, and I think we might have learned that from Mikau as well. We know who laid the eggs, and we can play the Song of Soaring to warp back pretty much right into her lap. You might also remember that she had lost her voice at one point. Perhaps playing this song will help, first of all, get her voice back, and second of all, maybe progress the plot a little bit, because we've been kind of floundering, no fish puns intended or anything, here in the Great Bay for quite a bit of time. But here we are back at Zora Hall, and all we need to do now is play the New Wave Bossa Nova for Lulu and see if it helps her at all. And that, guys, is the entrance, and it is kind of a ride to the Great Bay Temple, which we will be taking on in the next episode. As for this episode, guys, it is over, probably the biggest marathon session of the Let's Play so far. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and I hope to see you guys back for the next episode.